I have 1,000% respect for my clients, best referred to as a life/relational coach. There's a lot of confusion. I coach singles who are dating for marriage, take them through the pre-dating, dating process, into marriage and happily beyond. Hello everyone, welcome to The Dating Coach. I am your coach, Malka Schulman, and we have an amazing episode in store for you. Sitting in my home studio is Haley. Good evening, Haley.
Hello, thank you for having me.
A pleasure, and thank you for coming. Haley is a producer. She is a writer. She is an actress. She is not new to relationships. She has had 2 marriages, which she went into enthusiastically at the time and went out of by choice, and in fact has been in 3 excellent relationships with wonderful, fine men. I would like to highlight for you today what Haley's barriers are, though. We have one, I could say, could be called self-esteem, and the other, trust, and the last one, perhaps, difficulty setting boundaries. So, Haley, I was wondering if you could share with us what attracted you to each of your husbands?
Yes, the plural. I'm quite proud. The first husband, I was young, and I was still doing my undergrad, and I was still living at my parents' house, which was not a pleasant place to be. It had been a pretty high conflict, volatile environment growing up.
So you were coming to this from sort of an unhealthy emotional place?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Okay.
So when I met this very nice man, he had a house, and he provided me with an escape route. Mm-hmm. I wasn't conscious of it at the time. I wasn't using him.
But you were needy.
I was just desperate to get out of the situation that I was in.
Yeah. Fair to say negative role models?
I would say that it was just a very confusing environment, and I didn't have any idea of how I should be treated and what I should demand, what I should expect. I was going on a premise of fairy tales, because I had always thought, even as a little girl, that a fairy tale, one day my Prince Charming would come and save me.
Yeah.
So it
was really what was in it for you, without really knowing how to build a fair and equal relationship.
This is true. And I did know going into it that I was not in love with him, sadly. And I didn't have the emotional maturity to handle the situation.
Right. Well, to deal with the problems and come in psychologically free, emotionally free. Husband number 2, what drew you to that?
Well, now that was many years later. I was in my late 20s, or maybe I was about 27, 28, and I had been working as an actress, and I had done some really great movies, and I was happy with work, but it was such an unstable profession, an actress. I mean, you can't find any more rejection or instability than being an actress.
Yes, very true.
So, I mean, that was my entire life was just full of rejection and instability. So I was looking for stability, and I met this man who seemed wonderful and was the prince. He was the prince that I had always dreamed about.
So he swept you off your feet. You were definitely, coming from a personally weak place.
Not a healthy place.
Not a healthy place.
No.
You were desperate for attention. You definitely were attracted to his strength and maybe even his power. He was awesomely charismatic. I remember you describing that. And it was really about kind of get me and give me.
Well, and I wanted to love him too. That man was I thought, okay, everything was all about this. And this will be, I wanted to marry him, and I wanted to spend my life with him.
How did you feel about yourself, though, at this time?
Oh, I was not a together human being in any way, shape, or form. In retrospect, of course, at the time, I thought I had it all together. I was 28, and I knew everything.
Fair to say that your self-esteem was fragile?
Oh, very bad, very bad.
So looking back, could you describe many of your relationships as being exploitive, I won't say necessarily disgusting, but selfish and utterly disrespectful, at least to yourself and perhaps even to the person who you are marrying?
Well, when it comes to my ex-husband, my second, I don't think I would describe that relationship that way. I would describe other more fleeting relationships that way. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But to sum it up, perhaps we could say that relationships in general were ich and ouch.
Ich and ouch.
Ich and ouch. Okay, we are going to take a break. You are watching The Dating Coach, and I am Malka Schulman. When we return to The Dating Coach, Haley, we're going to try and help you to create a vision of what a healthy relationship would be based on self-esteem, where you'd be totally accepting of yourself, where you'd be coming in to be cared for and know how to care for another, where I would say you have sort of unconditionally constructive responsibility, and you'd know what to eliminate, for sure. You would know what not to tolerate, and you would also know what to no longer find acceptable. So, to the audience, I say to you, we will be right back with The Dating Coach, and please don't go anywhere. An exciting part of The Dating Coach, it is the Ask Malka section. I have 1,000% respect for my clients, best referred to as a life/relational coach. There's a lot of confusion. I coach singles who are dating for marriage, take them through the pre-dating, dating process, into marriage and happily beyond. Hello again. Welcome back to The Dating Coach. I'm your coach, Malka Schulman, and I am with Haley in my home studio. Haley, I have a very simple question to ask you. How would you describe healthy love?
Healthy love. Wow, okay. I would describe healthy love as something that two people share, that is not one-sided, but two people share similar values, that support each other to be the people that they want to be, not be threatened by growth and change, to work towards growing and changing together, I think.
Okay. And how much give and take and receiving and such takes place in healthy love, according to your opinion?
I would see it almost like a ball that goes back and forth, and one person can't hog the ball and the other person can't just go without the ball for a while.
What is your capacity to love?
Massive. But my
How
love
do
is
you
too
know
much
that?
Because that has always been sort of, I think, I'm a very sensitive person and I feel a lot, and I think I feel so much love that it's stifling.
Is that what you call smother love?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I think so. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you bring that into your mature relationships as well as mothering?
My friendships, I don't believe that I smother, no. No, my friendships, I have very strong female friendships. That are based in respect and support and good stuff. I haven't been in a relationship with a man older than my child, my son, who's now 12, in years. So
You know, when you say that smother love is akin to what you do naturally, I'm going to give you a cute little acronym to hang on to, and I call it a 3D love. And this is how it goes. It takes discipline. That's the first D. Discernment, to be able to differentiate, right, as to what you're loving and what you really value. And the last thing is distance, and that has to do with boundaries, right? Your boundaries, the other person's boundaries. That's the 3D part of it. Okay. So you kind of need to access all of that in order to have a healthy relationship.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay. Now, you know, we spoke about smother love. What would help you to hold back a bit?
Well, I now swung to the other extreme where now I just hold back. I don't get involved with men, hence why we're talking, because it's probably, I've swung, the pendulum has gone to the other extreme, where I would just, love was all-encompassing everything in my life.
Well, was it missing some compassion for the other person?
Probably, yes.
Yeah?
Yikes. Yes, probably, sure. I think it was selfish. For sure.
So it's so important to love a person on their terms, not only on your own. Is that what you're saying?
I think I would try to love them. I think I would try to make people the way that I wanted them rather than accept them for who they really were.
Okay. That definitely is dangerous.
Yes, it didn't work.
No. I'm very big on love languages. I've spoken about that in the past, really understanding what it is that the other person would be receptive to receiving and give it to them on their terms. Otherwise, it's a waste of love. And you will also experience that rejection that you spoke about before.
But do you have that conversation? I mean, is that...
Oh, I hope that you actually learn that over time as you date. And I hope you even ask about it. Besides being intuitive and picking it up, yeah, for sure. You want to be able to give to the person in a way that they could receive.
Absolutely. And ideally,
Yes.
I would like to give them what they actually want, not what I think they should want.
And in turn,
So.
get them to be responsive to your needs and not to just what they think they have to give and want to give you. Yeah, it's this is where healthy love is all about, the receiving and the giving simultaneously. Well, you know what? I just wonder, what will make a love endure?
This is, I think, the million-dollar question.
Yes. I'm going to say it's bonding, my dear. You've got to really bond. You've got to really feel some kind of a togetherness and continue that joint effort together. Not just kind of wait for it to happen or fizzle out, but you have to keep working at it together. That is the bonding and togetherness that just helps. There's a Torah term, which is called Re'im Ahuvim, which means beloved friends. There are times that you're friends and you're loyal to each other, and then there are times that it's so incredibly beloved, where you're really, really into a hot, emotionally intimate relationship. And that is all part of what makes it endure. And you have to keep sustaining that together.
This all sounds very good.
It sounds good. It takes It takes a lot of good hard work and such. Well, I'm telling everybody, we have so much to continue to explore together. Healthy love, mature love, how to bond, how to stay together and endure. And we're just going to take a tiny break here now. I don't want anyone to go away. I am Malka Schulman, and we will be right back with the Dating Coach. Thank you. An exciting part of the Dating Coach, it is the Ask Malka section. I have 1,000% respect for my clients, best referred to as a life/relational coach. There's a lot of confusion. I coach singles who are dating for marriage, take them through the pre-dating, dating process, into marriage and happily beyond. So, welcome back to the Dating Coach. I'm Malka Schulman. I'm here in my home studio with Haley, and we have been discussing healthy love, true love, mature love, and we even brought up enduring love, which was a very interesting piece there, because if I remember correctly, Haley, you were beginning to say enduring love? Like, gee whiz, how do you keep that going? Like, I figure it has its attraction, and when it loses its attraction, bye-bye.
I have to admit that I'm not sure that I believe fundamentally. I don't know if long-term relationships are akin with human nature.
Could I ask you something?
Yeah.
You have a son, right?
I do.
Are you committed to him? Long-term?
Oh, he's my son.
Well,
I'm madly in love with him.
Great.
I couldn't be any
What
more in love with him.
happens if he goes through a bad phase and you're really not so enamored with him then?
I love him.
I know you love him. Well, what does that mean?
Well, it means that I I'm there to support him unconditionally. I love him unconditionally.
I would say that you are loyal and committed to him.
Absolutely.
And you probably would have to work hard at certain points to find the endearing pieces in order to maintain that commitment to him, because sometimes kids could be turn-offs. Well, sometimes situations with spouses could also turn you off. And what you're looking for always is to be into the current you, and also to really look at the enduring pieces and celebrate them. Those are the things you really want to make big on. Plus, endure it by keeping on feeding and nurturing it in the way that is meaningful to the other person.
Well, I think I actually always did believe in long-term relationships. I think I was so devastated, crushed, annihilated from my ex-husband and that relationship and the divorce, that I just don't think for years that I have not been able or willing to even come close to being hurt like that again.
So let's protect
horrifying.
you from hurt by saying the following. You are wiser now than ever before as to the characteristics that you are looking for that would be non-negotiable in a relationship, that would satisfy you. Okay?
This is true.
Now, interestingly enough, we had a little bit of a discussion before we actually met in the studio, and I had asked Haley to please kind of share with me what her ideal man's characteristics would be. There were 42 of them. They were in alphabetical order. And I said to her, can you imagine getting out there and looking for the man who has these 42 characteristics that are non-negotiable? No chance. So I asked her to hone down to 5. Do you remember what your 5 were?
Humor.
Yes.
Intelligence.
Yes.
And education.
Right.
Strength. I believe.
You definitely wanted a fellow who was healthy, mentally,
integrity.
physically,
That's right.
emotionally.
That's right.
That was
yes.
extremely
That's
important.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
anything else you remember was really up there?
Honesty.
Honesty.
Yes.
And the last one you listed was respect. And
Yes.
that is such a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are some more qualities. Monogamy, I think. I didn't put that in there, but that's a biggie.
Maybe that's the outgrowth of respect.
Right.
If you really think of it. Because I think that what you just did was you highlighted things, and now there is description and substance that could be added to each of these. Right. You know what? I'm going to recommend to you that if you really want to have a promising relationship in the future, and I think you really can, because you're smart, you're intuitive, and you have a huge heart and inspiration. Yes, you do, you do, you do. So this is what I would recommend. Something that may throw you, but it's called pre-screening. And you know what it starts with? It starts with really knowing who you are and what you really and truly want very badly and what you have to offer. So before you get into an emotionally entangled relationship, however that develops, you are going to even exchange references or do a little bit of a background check, as you would on a job search, or as you would when you really got into a business partnership, for example, right? Okay. Now, you're going to check on whether this person's humor that you want laughs at people or with people. If you want him to be a respectful individual, you will find out, wow, in my relationship with him so far, how does he speak? Does he speak respectfully?
I always know by the waitress. If they're
yes,
rude to
the waitress, the guy at the toll booth. What about how
everybody has to be treated with respect, not just me.
Yeah, what about how he speaks about his family? What about how he speaks to about his coworkers? Right. Okay? All of that. There is nothing. You cannot not communicate. And you also want to know if he is an emotionally healthy individual. Well, maybe some of his friends would be able to tell you a little bit about the past. Is there any emotional illness? Is there anything of that nature in the background that has not been taken care of up until this point? You know what? Pre-screening may seem very offensive and cold but it's absolutely essential. And I could tell you that there are basic things that you can ask about, and there are even in-depth things that you can ask about. For example, you can ask about substance abuse. Mm-hmm. You can ask about any kind of an addiction that he may have. Sex, the internet, drugs, gambling, all of the above, because none of these would make for a very loyal, wonderful relationship at all.
No,
right?
no,
You'd
those
be
are deal
challenged.
breakers. Every single one.
Deal
of them.
breakers,
That's
and
not
also
even...
he would be committed to that instead of to you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I would say that you should take very, very seriously what it is that you're looking for. Put it out there. Ask your network to help you find this kind of person. Right?
See, the problem is, I'm 41. All of the women I know, I'm friends with, we're all divorced single mothers, and we don't have a network of men. We don't. I mean, even through work, because most people I've heard meet through work or work acquaintances, but
people who know you well and care about you are your network, and if you can articulate to them what it is that you're looking for, they will be able to know to introduce you and make suggestions to that kind of person as opposed to the other, so you're not going to go as wrong. We have a very, very promising segment that we are going to be into now. It is called the Ask Malka segment, in which we have questions that are posed and will be answered. I thank you all. Stay tuned for Ask Malka. I have 1,000% respect for my clients, best referred to as a life/relational coach. There's a lot of confusion. I coach singles who are dating for marriage, take them through the pre-dating, dating process, into marriage and happily beyond. Hi, we're back at the Dating Coach, and we have a most exciting piece now. It is called the Ask Malka section, and we have on our video call Rachel, who will pose a question. Rachel, go ahead. We're ready for you.
I've searched through hundreds of online profiles in an attempt to find a potential long-term marriage partner. Time and again, my heart's been broken. How do I protect myself from exploitive con artists, cooks, and phantom personas looking for fun rather than for marriage?
Rachel, your question is incredible, and it is a question that is not only asked by yourself, but by so many people. The internet has become an incredible tool to meeting people. And the truth of the matter is you meet lots and lots of people, people who you may not even have expected to meet, and some of whom you wouldn't really want to meet, like the kooks, like those who are charlatans. Yeah, and very, very emotionally unstable. The fact of the matter is you have to remember that the internet is only a tool for introductions. And the incredible thing is that you cannot rely on it for integrity. Not at all. Which is why it is so important that after having a bit of a relationship over the internet, you would immediately move to a face-to-face meeting. Not only that, don't confuse anonymity with security. You have to stay very, very private and not divulge any personal information for the longest time until you actually decide, after pre-screening the individual and exchanging references, to then begin to meet face-to-face and establish a relationship slowly over time. Almost like you peel an onion. You start with the airplane talk. You get in a little bit deeper and more personally. You get in deeper still to the motivation. You get in deeper still to caring and understanding if you choose to continue with this individual. The other thing you have to remember is that you shouldn't really develop in-depth relationships on the internet at all. That's not what it's there for. It is only a tool for introduction. And again, you have got to meet in real time. Another extremely important thing to remember, which is going to protect you from heartbreak, is you want to stay close to home. It has to be within travel radius. And the last thing I would tell you, besides, just exchanging those references, is meet in person. But when you do meet in person in a public place to start with. Because remember, this person is only a stranger. Now, these are an answer to some of the perils the pitfalls, and these are the precautions so that you could really enjoy the pleasures of meeting someone long-term and having this incredible, enduring, I'd say, happy and harmonious relationship forever after. I hope this answers your question. And with this, we are going to be wrapping up. I want to thank you, Haley, for having joined us. I want to thank you, Rachel, for a very relevant and pertinent question. And I look forward for anyone who has questions to pose them on my site, which is www.datingformarriage.com. That's the number 4, datingformarriage.com. And it was really a pleasure being with you today. Thank you, and I hope to see you again. I have 1,000% respect for my clients, best referred to as a life/relational coach. There's a lot of confusion. I coach singles who are dating for marriage, take them through the pre-dating, dating process, into marriage and happily beyond.